Hey campers, George here, back in the man cave. Yeah, doing some cleanup. Got me some unusual cutters here. The small guys, the little stockmans and whatnot. They're pretty cool and they're not that common. Not everybody knows these companies. So I looked them up. Let's check it out. So these are the guys I'm talking about. I got 4 of them here. I think 3 are, maybe 2 are stockmans. The other 2 are 2-blade jack stockman. No, I don't think that's what it is. That's what I was looking up. Serpentine jack. Ha! I love this book. Tells me everything I want. Well, almost everything I want to know. Pretty cool. Anywho, looking at these knives, and turns out they're pretty interesting because, to be honest, most of the names I didn't really recognize. 1 I knew, the other 3 not so much. So I looked them up, and here's what I found out. Got me notes. So the first one I'm talking about is this guy. See that? And this is just your everyday stockman style. And you can see it's got, you know, this yellow handle on it. It's pretty well made. It's very, the only thing I'm not too keen on, a little sharp on the handles. You see that sharp edge? They could have rounded that off a little bit better, but it's really well made. Now, like I said, wasn't so sure. I thought I knew who made this one. Can you see that? It says Ranger. Huh. I looked him up. Here's what I found out. Ranger knives. Colonial. They say that they were made around the 1980s. The type of knife it was is what you'd see in a hardware store. They'd sell them there, they'd be on the counter, that sort of thing. They weren't that bad, they were actually pretty good. The great thing about it was, back then, $3.99. Look at that. You couldn't even buy a blade for that now. Anyway, this is Ranger knives, and like I said, they were one of those side hustles of a bigger company, and the bigger company was Colonial. You know, they'd have all these other brands that they're brand knives. They were a little bit more inexpensive, not as well made as their top knives. Well, Colonial did Ranger, and you can see here, I'll just show you quickly without cutting myself. Surprisingly, it's extremely sharp. And here you see it here. And it's your archetypical stockman. You've got your clip, that big sweeping clip, West Coast clip, California clip, toothpick, whatever you want to call it. You can see it's that long sweeping blade. And if you look really carefully, it's actually etched. Can you see that? And it says, oops, Ranger. See that? Ultra honed. They're right. It's slicey. And, you know, the badge, Ranger, and then it has this plastic style material. I'm not sure what it is. I tried to find out. I couldn't find anything. The interesting thing that I found on it when I was looking it up was actually, I'll show you the tank stamp first. And I think it's on this blade. Can barely see it. See it there? Here it is here. That wasn't the interesting thing. On this little, let me find it. On the little pen blade here, it gives a pattern number. And apparently, I found this document. The patent number, it was applied for in 1965 and was released in 1967. So this is probably 70s to 80s. And I've got to say, it's the first time I've been able to even get close on a colonial made knife, because dating them, almost impossible. Anyway, you saw that, so that helps. And it's really well made. Very nice. The interesting thing on this, though, is it has 3 springs. You see that? Each blade has its own spring. You want to know why they do that? Well, you've seen those knives, you see them picking up, and one of the springs is broken in the middle. It's snapped. It's useless, doesn't work anymore. Well, that was because you had that single spring, and people would open both blades, put a lot of tension on that spring, and eventually it just snapped in the middle. To stop that from happening, they just gave them each their own little spring. Pretty cool. Nice little knife. And what I'm doing here is I'm cleaning them up. And all I do is, first off, I'll use some alcohol, wipe them down, get all the dirt off and that sort of thing, like any grease or anything like that. Then I'll oil the bolsters, and if it has unusual handles, I use orange glow, and it's a good cleaner, doesn't damage anything, and it gives them a nice little shine. And then they go into the collection. I like to oil the bolsters. It really improves your, the snap and the walk and talk of the knife. Just makes them a lot easier to work with. So that's what I'm doing right now. And I even give them a quick polish with mothers if they're going into my collection. If there's something that's going in my pocket, not mothers, I just clean them up. Give them a wipe off and things like that. So, hold on, I dropped it. I got to get it. Let me open it again. I can open all the blades. I don't have to worry about damaging the springs because, like I said, they're all on their own spring. So here you see it here. And like I said, your everyday stockman. Nice little knife. Kind of like the yellow handles, because as a work knife, which is what it really was, these were being sold to cattlemen and that sort of thing in the hardware stores. They'd go in, buy their supplies, I need a pocket knife for just in case. They'd get this sort of thing, a stockman, because it could do everything they needed it to do. You can get bigger ones. This one's a little bit smaller. You can see it in my hand here. Nicely made. Now, I did find out, the bolsters look stainless. They don't look like the other ones where the older ones that use that combination. Everything's stainless on here, the blades, I think. No, maybe not. It's 1075 is what it is. But a nice little knife. Ranger. Who would have thunk, right? Then we have this guy. See that? Is that not cool? Right? Look at it. Yep, another little stockman. And this one, you can see here, has that anvil on it. And yep, Anvil knives. Providence, USA. Huh. Isn't that convenient? So I looked them up because, to be honest, I thought Imperial Knives did the Anvil series. But once again, I was wrong. And you can see your stockman. You can see it. It has this wood-looking handle, but it's plastic. And it has this Anvil badge on it here. It's not a bad little knife. It's actually nicely made. It's got the brass liners, nice and clean. Nice little knife. Not as heavy duty as this one, because simply this one's wider because it has, 3 springs. This guy, just 2. Who do you think made it? They cousins. Yeah, Anvil, Colonial. So, not surprising there. Very nice little knife. Where I got these knives, they came from mail calls. I find them at antique stores, swap meets, that sort of thing. I just don't remember which ones are which. So we have two colonial side brands. You've got your Ranger and Anvil. Now Anvil, I'm not sure the dating on that, but the pattern number is the same. So probably around about the same time. Now this one, which I got to tell you, I really like this one. Number of reasons. It's well made. And it has nice handles. Look at that. See that? Look at this thing. Isn't that a beautiful little knife? Bone. Brass pins. I'm going to say nickel silver bolsters. And 2 springs. 3-blade Stockman. Like I said, bone handles. And they got this badge on it. You see that? That W? Didn't know who they were. Here you go. Wayne Knives. Here's the tank stamp. It's like, who? Never heard of them. Had to look them up. And here's the description I got on this. It has brass liners on the main blades, swedged at the front and you can see the nail nick on the main blade here is that match strike swedge on that long clip, whatever you want to call it. Very nice. You'll notice that the nail nicks on the smaller knives are not match strikes. Say hello to Mary. Passing through again. It does have a number on it. It says number 150. See that? Very nice little knife. Very nice. And yeah, I love the handles. Look at the handles on this thing. Want to guess where it was made? Japan. Yeah. So apparently, allegedly, Wayne knives were made in Japan. Some of them. They were actually considered a lower end Japanese knife. And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, wow, I want to see the high end. This is very nice. You know, they said 20 to 40 years ago. Wow. So what does that make it? 80s, right? 1980s. Not bad. Very nice knife. Very nice. Well made. I like it. Very cool. For a stockman, a little bit fancier than you want to use it as a cattleman style knife where you working with it. It's got bone handles on it. Very nice. Basically, I think, you know, you've seen the saber knives that I have. I think this is the same thing. You have that brand name of saber, but they had them made everywhere. Japan, Germany, Pakistan, all over the place. I think it was the same for these guys. And this one just happens to be in Japan. So I think that's what about, you know, Wayne being a distributor, not the maker, kind of like a saber type of business. Interesting that they were compared to people like Frost and Parker, who all had their stuff made in Japan. Well, here you go. Here is Wayne Knives. And I got to tell you, I really like this. I mean, look at it. Is that not cool? That handle. Very nice. Wow. This one is nothing like those ones. I don't know why I put it in the same pack. Probably because it was kind of sort of the same size. But here it is here. See that? Cracked ice handles right away. Your brass pins and these bolsters, which I call toenail bolsters. See that? Which makes the style a sleeve board. Okay, so it's a sleeve board pen, 2-blade. And, oh, I just remembered why. Couldn't remember why. Actually, hold on. Here it is here. And the reason I asked you to wait So I'm going to show you something. But look at this knife, okay? It has the cracked ice look, and it's not that obvious cracked ice. It's kind of a little bit more subtle, a little bit more yellow. It has this spear point on it, a really long nail nick on there, bottle opener with a nail nick, has the little toenail stuff on there, all that going on. And interestingly enough, this one, the tang stamp, see that? Camco, USA. Now you've heard of Camco because I have a couple of them, and you know why I have them. Well, yeah, if I remember, budget line from a long-established knife maker, yeah. Wait for it. Camillus, right? No. Camillus. Camillus. I'll get it right. People keep telling me how to pronounce it and I forget. So, Camillus. Camillus made these knives. Same thing again, a side brand, budget style, more affordable, and they called it Camco, Camillus Company. So there you have, there has that bottle opener and the screwdriver. Unusual knife, unusual combination, right? Well made, I like it. Obviously a budget knife, but in pretty good condition. Now you might remember, or you may have seen the short I did of this knife, right? Look at that. Sleeve board, kind of like a swell end. Let me hold them up. Look at that. They not look like made by the same people, huh? Look at those handles. Same material. And this one, the tang stamp says nothing. Nada. Zip. Zilch. Nothing. Don't know who made it. But I'm looking here. Okay. Spear point bottle opener. Right? Spear point bottle opener. Right there together. Look at those handles. Look at the bolsters. I'm thinking, kind of sort of might be Camco. I don't know. Can't, allegedly. I'm guessing here. But I just thought interesting. A two-blade, because I wanted to put a bottle opener on it. And somebody thought, well, we can do that at, a little bit less expensive. Just put it all on one blade. I don't know. Anywho, there's this guy. And I got to tell you, these sleeve boards, they're kind of ignored. And I think because people, back in the day, they were budget knives, real budget knives. If you were a Camillus fan, you would buy one of their knives, and they're kind of pricey, and you use them for work, and you break them. Yeah, I don't want to do that. Well, this was the other option. Camco, same people. Interestingly enough, while I was online, looking them up, just wanting to know more about them, came across brochures and things. Love that stuff. And, the information I found here, Camillus introduced Camco, these guys, in 1948. That's a while back. And I think they were still around right up until they declared bankruptcy and sold the rights. And I think the rights came along with Camco, also went to that same company. I forget who bought them. I think it was in like 1992. So there you go, Camco. So what do we got? We got a Ranger. We got an Anvil, cousins. We got a Camco, Camillus. And then you got Wayne. I gotta say, I like this guy. But these, Camco, it's kind of a, it's too close to Camillus for me to not look at it. So there you go. Thought I'd show you these guys. I'm just going through and, like I said, oiling them, greasing them up. getting ready to put them in my cupboard of collections, which I'm still trying to figure out how to store them all in some sort of collection. Maybe I'll go with the little guys like this and the style, Stockman, Canoe, Trapper, whatever. I think I might just do that. Whereas on the other knives, you know, they're kind of different. Electricians and campers and that sort of thing. These are the small guys that a lot of us ignore. And I've got to tell you, I'd be okay carrying this in my pocket as a backup EDC. I mean, I always have my sack on my, you know, it's a mail call, and I've had that on my belt for about 2 years right now. So, and it's done well. You can't beat a Victorinox. It's got everything you need on it. This is a Tinker, I believe. Anyway, back to this guy. Well made. I love it. And to think that this is a budget knife, considered a budget knife. And something else I learned today, 3 verse 2. The advantage, not so much. So there you go. Good idea, right? 3 springs. What do you think? Have you guys heard of these makers? I mean, I know who Camelus is, knew who Camco was, didn't know Ranger, didn't know Anvil. And Wayne? Who's Wayne? Interesting, reading up on there, one of the things that was said about them, here's what they said. Remember, but you know, it was considered a budget knife. Nobody was really interested in. Now to us collectors, because it is not often seen and has an odd name for a knife brand, has become collectible, right? Isn't that what happens? I didn't know who it was. I saw Wayne and I go, who's Wayne? Never heard of them, but I like the knife. And I'm thinking, I want to collect this. I'd like to see more like this if this is a budget knife. Wow. There you go. So, thought I'd show you those. As you know, winter for me is an indoor time a lot because it's just too miserably cold to do anything outside except ice fish. So it's the time I take to go through all my stuff. And I'm not just talking knives. I've got these guys. They're hanging on the wall here. I go through and check them, make sure the wood's not drying or cracking or anything like this. You know, nothing happening up here. Maybe linseed oil on here. Just re-wipe them a couple of times again. Make sure, because leather, look, gets rusty because this sucks up all the moisture in the air and it sits in the leather. Then you got to go back and wipe them off, clean them off, get that rust off, and look after them. So you got, you know, I've got axes. I've got my bigger fixed blade camp knives up there. Check on them, clean them up. Paid a lot of money for them. Well, for me I did. It was a lot of money to me. On my budget, anything above $1 is a lot of money. This is a Beavercraft. It's actually really good for one-handed, nice shot. You can actually whittle with it. Well, you know, make tent spikes and things like that when you're out camping. It's not that big. Nice little cutter. Obviously, I've got some bigger ones, but same thing. Got to go through them. I need to go through all my big fixed blades and make sure they're all okay. Then I'll start looking at like stoves and things like that, if I have time. But that's winter for me. When I'm not ice fishing, that's what I'm doing. So you're probably going to see a little bit more of knives that I haven't shown before because, like everybody else, I've tended to ignore them. Look at them. Nice little cutters. And like I said, I think I'm going to be carrying this thing around a lot more. Why? Probably won't use it because I think it's too nice, but it'll be nice to pull out and say, check this out. Do you know who these guys are? Well, this is what I found out. It is a talking piece. I mean, after all, bone handles, very nice. There you go. When you're doing all that cleaning and everything, You're opening and closing blades, putting oil in. Some of these, like these Japanese knives, the snap. Be careful. They sharp. Snap on your finger. It's going to sting. Just saying. Be safe. And don't forget, like, share, subscribe. You know the story. Let me know what you think of this. I'm a history looker-upper geek type guy. What can I say? And I got to say that this book, I haven't spent any money on books because I look at them and I look at what everybody else is using out of my budget. They're not bad, and it's got a lot of information. I'm no knife master and know-it-all on a knife. I learn every time I find a knife, work on a knife, see a knife. Why? Because I have to look it up, and I rely way too much on that. And I've got to tell you, with all this AI stuff, I'm just not sure anymore. I'd rather go to hard, paper like this and look them up. I just feel a little bit better about what I'm reading about. Yes, something you might want to do. Go on Google, check the AI option on the top on the search, and type your name in. Oh, the horror. Just saying. So there you go. Nice little cutters. And don't forget, just below here, there's a join button. It's my membership program. If you would like to support the channel, see more stuff like this, shorts, restores, just reviews, fishing, camping, hiking, walking sticks, and anything else that gets my attention, you get some of that, plus more of that stuff. And some of it a little bit more personal. Just saying. So if you'd like to support the channel, there's a good way to do it without breaking your budget. Just saying. Thanks for watching. Always, always appreciate it. And we'll see you again soon.